So please welcome Reverend Kelly Brzezinski.
Thank you. Thanks, Dr. James. And good morning, everybody. It's always such a pleasure to be here and to get to participate. And I'm really glad to be here today to be a part of the conversation for this month about release. And this word it's one we hear frequently at Global Truth Center. We hear the word release in probably every prayer or spiritual mind treatment that is offered here. We hear that at the end, that I release my word. And so what is that about, really? What is the significance of that? And for me, it really is about, we talked a little bit about it when Dr. James and I were up here, about, I know there's something I want to move past, and I want to usher something else in to replace it. I usher that in via the power of my word. And I think that's a wonderful notion, and it's a powerful process. And so my talk title today is The Ride of Your Life. And this is maybe 15 years ago or so. I was still starring in West Side Story on Broadway. Oh, no. I don't even know where that came from, really. I don't even know whose story that is. Pardon me. I was still living in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'd been there many years, and I was invited by a group of friends to participate in a weekend getaway. This particular group of friends love to ride all of the big thrill rides. And they invited me on a road trip. Day one would be spent at Knott's Berry Farm, and day two at Magic Mountain. And so I was game for this. I signed up for it, and soon we were on our merry way for this weekend road trip. And my friends loved to be on the rides with me. They loved riding these big thrill rides, particularly with me, because of my animation and what the rides bring out in me. And that mostly is screaming and hollering, and even less than that, really more cackling and laughing at the top of my lungs uncontrollably. That's just how they affect me. And so I think I was kind of a plant to bring on this trip, because it seemed to affect everybody around me, and everybody engaged a little more on the rides. And at the end of a couple days, I think we had done 37 thrill rides, something like that. I was worn out, frankly, kind of weak in the knees and trembling at the end of it. But it became apparent at some point that as free as I was with laughter and animation and carrying on, that there was a level of freedom I saw all around me that I was not able to participate in. And that was, for instance, we would be on a roller coaster and coming down a major hill or going through a loop or something, and I would see my friends and people around me, little kids even, 6 or 7 or 8 years old, just turn loose with their hands. And in this, just what looked to me like freedom. Meanwhile, I was clutching to anything that resembled a handle on whatever particular ride I happened to be on. Clutching, grasping, clenching either a lap bar or a handle by my side or whatever it happened to be. And yet, I really wanted to participate in this greater level of freedom that I saw happening. I really wanted that, and yet couldn't quite do it, couldn't quite come to that comfort level. And so, in looking at this idea, what is going on within me that prevents me from stepping into this greater freedom. What I realized is that when I really, truly do want to let go of something and can't, I have to look inward. Because what's going on out here is really just an indication of what is going on in here. And that's where I had to look to really eventually come to terms with how this affected me. And so while I spent the weekend clutching the lap bar on the roller coasters, I eventually came to understand a lot from this little road trip with my friends. And one of the things I realized is that we human beings are interesting creatures, if nothing else. We will sometimes hold on to something, even when we know it is standing in our way. We will hold on to something, sometimes to the point of exhaustion. And I experienced that on this weekend. I experienced exhaustion at the end of this weekend. My hands were cramped, in fact. And I was certainly exhausted from that way of holding on to something. But I was exhausted in another way, from a mental and emotional standpoint. And I was exhausted from that because I was trying to do two things that conflicted and trying to do them at the same time. I was trying to immerse myself fully in the enjoyment of the present moment. And I was simultaneously attempting to protect myself from that present moment. That is an exhausting way to live. And I come to understand something else in that trip. I came to learn that when I clutch something in that way, when I squeeze the life out of something for all it is worth, when I am holding on for dear life, whatever I'm holding on to, I am not protected from. I am tied to it. And when I do that, it is never more than arm's length away. The only way to get it further away is to let it go. And so I had to look at what was going on in my mind. What is this need for safety, this need for protection? What is that about? And on that inward journey, I realized that I had to release something in my mind. I had to release a new image, a new idea, a new understanding about myself, about who and what I am. The truth about who I am. And the truth of that is that I am the very presence of God. That is who I am. That is who each of you are. But when I understood that, not when I said it, not when I read it off a page or something, but when I felt that on an interior level, then this became possible for me. So, my question for each of you here, for myself, for everybody online, for all of us, my question is probably obvious. And I'm no longer talking about a lap bar on a roller coaster or something like that. But what are those old thoughts and beliefs and stories that you tell yourself about how you have to provide for your own protection? What I know is the truth of us suggests just because of who we are, our safety and security and protection are already provided for. We are safe in every moment. But I would invite you, if you will join me in that thing of looking inside, look at your own life as I will continue to look at mine, look in and see what is it that you absolutely know is standing between you and a fuller, richer experience of this thing called life. What do you know you need to let go of? And look at that. Look at that feeling inside about who and what you are. And what I know is that if you will do that and come to that same conclusion about how powerful you are, you can get on that cart. You can get on that roller coaster. It may still be scary. There will be highs and lows and big curves maybe and loops and all that kind of stuff. But you'll know for sure that that track is there to support you in every moment, that you are cared for. And if you do that, if you come to that resolution, you'll be able to let go of that desperate feeling of holding on by a thread. And as my talk title suggests, you will begin the ride of your life. Happy Sunday, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.